Good evening, YouTube. This is Kayleen String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner, and I am back at my usual time, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. This is the new Titan freeze-dried 24-hour ration from Minotaur Trading Company. This is Minotaur MRE, but MinotaurTradingCompany.com, both URLs will get you there. That way, if you forget one URL, you go the other route and it'll still get you there. And as in the previous Titans, they come in this really nice, sturdy bag. I just saw when I did my unboxing of the package and I took everything out to show you what was in one of these. There is a Higa homestead in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So, again, this is a 24-hour ration. So there is Western Omelet Scramble, 3-meat goulash, and turkey tetrazzini. There is Pete in the house. Thanks for dropping in. And this one, the 3-meat goulash, I'm assuming is chicken, turkey, and beef. Because, you know, when this was sent to me, I was informed that this one does not contain pork. So, and for the accessory packs, I just decided to combine all of the coffees, the creamers, and the sugars together in this one bag. There's a lathe in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Just to make it easier, and I have already taken out those items which I will not be using, like the water purification tablets and you know, stuff like that. And the coffees that I included are the Folgers sticks. So instant coffee crystals. And they still call it coffee crystals when you buy the jars of the Folgers instant coffee. So that will go into... I'm using my 4 MRE mug for the coffee. I will throw a creamer in there and a sugar in there. And then these other two will be saved for subsequent meals. There is Sunshine Side of Life in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So this is the Western Omelet Scramble, and this is their new packaging for the freeze-dried entrees. It is short and wide, so you would not need a super long spoon. And just to prove that, I will still be able to use my 4 MRE spork for stirring it once I get the water in. So the garlic mashed potatoes is in a taller pouch, but that is still doable. It's supposed to say classic trail mix, but somehow the printing got messed up on this one. So, and this is a stash tea. Wild raspberry hibiscus. I love hibiscus tea. I can get straight up hibiscus tea at Hillel Groceries. And this is the Skyflakes chocolate wafer. So lots of stuff to choose from. Jalapeno cheddar cheese spread. So this is a dry mix. And this is a standard, the regular original Skyflakes crackers. I see Jay in the house. Thanks for dropping in. All day snack Indulgent Trail mix. This is a new one. I have not had this one, so I may go with this one for tonight, since I haven't had that one before. Arnold Palmer. For those that are not familiar with that, he came up with the idea of half and half iced tea and lemonade. And then Arizona put his name on their half and half cans. They put his face on it. So you go to the store that sells the Arizona canned or bottled iced tea, you get Arnold Palmer's face on it. So that's what is referred to as an Arnold Palmer. So that is one of the cold drinks I can go with. In fact, I may go with that simply because that is a new one. This is instant white rice, and again, they've done that in the shorter, wider packaging. This is chocolate peanut spread, and this one is another dry mix. So if I choose to go with one of these, I might have to get another bottle of water, depending on the drink mixes. So here is another main. This is the 3-meat goulash. See if I can get this to focus. The printing got messed up on this one, so it might be hard to... chicken, ground lamb, oh, sirloin. Oh, that's even better. So lamb, chicken, and sirloin steak. And here's a cinnamon swirl cheesecake dessert. And this is orange breakfast drink. So if I go with the omelet, the scramble, then French vanilla cappuccino. These are awesome, by the way. This is a performance readiness bar. It's another pack of the original Skyflakes. Salted caramel cheesecake mix. Oops, sorry about that. And then the other main is the turkey tetrazzini. I've had the Mountain House turkey tetrazzini, and I really enjoyed that one. So it'll be interesting to see how this one is compared to that one. And then the other small items, a little Minotaur spice bottle of cilantro. Can never go wrong with that. I love cilantro. Cherry drink, which is awesome. I've had that before. And this is the jalapeno cheese spread mix. There is Mike in the house. Thanks for dropping in. And the English breakfast tea is the other tea that is in here. I did not get out a second mug to do a tea, but I can fix that. I'm going to scroll up through the chat. Let's see. Yossi, all the way from Israel, is in the house. Angry Blacksmith is here. Christine is here. I'm just going back through the chat just to see who all is in here. I think I'm all caught up. So I will leave it up to you to decide which main should I go with, and then I will pick other items to pair with that. I'm going to save this tea for another time. So I will move all these to the side, these smaller items. And putting them back into the bag. So should I do the Western Omelet Scramble? And I would probably go with one of the cheese or the goulash or the turkey tetrazzini. There's Burger Butt, and Burger Butt is in the house. What? So should I go ahead and do the goulash? And that is the most interesting to me since it has 3 different meats. Yeah, that's okay, Rachel. We'll eat all the eggs for you. I see 2 for the goulash. But I'm definitely doing the Arnold Palmer. Oops, sorry about that. I keep up with the dang phone now. But this Western omelet already has the jalapenos and cheese in it. So I could save this for the goulash, or I could mix it in with the mashed potatoes. Because I do have the mashed potatoes here. And of course here is the instant rice. This is just plain rice, so I've already done that. So I haven't decided if I will just skip that and not even use it. So here's the garlic mashed potatoes. This has the Corona spice. I have not had that by itself, so I don't know what that tastes like. That refers to the spice blend that was put into the original Cronus big box of awesomeness. See, this already has rice in it, so I probably would not add the additional rice. I'm thinking it might be good on the mashed potatoes. You think if I put the goulash on the mashed potatoes? And that's sounding good to me. So the classic trail mix will go back into the bag. I'm going to go ahead and put the omelet back in. I'm going to put the rice back in. There's Carla in the house. Thanks for dropping in. This cinnamon swirl cheesecake, that almost sounds like it might be breakfast. So I'm going to put the cherry back in. I'm going to put the orange back in. So when I do the omelet scramble, I will bring this out. The French vanilla cappuccino. I've had this before. It's really awesome. So the turkey tetrazzini will go back into the bag. So this calls for 12 ounces, up to 12 ounces of water, so that's perfect for my drinking jar. And this Indulgent Trail mix, I do want to try that. So as far as a dessert, this performance bar, I think this could be a breakfast item. Unless you would rather see me open this one up tonight. Or wait till I do the breakfast for dinner. I could get real indulgent and put the chocolate peanut spread, mix that up and put it on this chocolate wafers. See, I actually got 2 jalapeno cheese spreads. So I could do this in 2 different... I definitely want to try this with the turkey tetrazzini. So as far as a dessert goes, as I'm putting more items back into the bag, the salted caramel cheesecake mix or the cinnamon swirl. Or for the chocolate spread and these wafer crackers. I'm assuming it feels like just two, but there's chocolate in between them. So what do you think I should do for a dessert? So one says the Skyflakes chocolate wafers with the chocolate peanut spread mix. Yeah, Aletha, that would be the best way to go about it. Okay, so I do not have vanilla. This is cinnamon swirl or salted caramel. These are the standard salted crackers. These are not vanilla. Okay, one says the salted caramel. I see two for salted caramel. Okay, I see three, so I guess I'll go ahead and put this one back in. So I brought out my Camo bottle, which holds 500 mils of water, so I got enough for the drink. And this. This only calls for a tablespoon of water, so not much. But there's a lot of powder in here, so. There's no wait time on this. The cheesecake has a wait time of 3 minutes, so I will wait to do that until after these are done. I'm going to go ahead and I'm shaking the creamer down so when I rip the packet open it won't all be flying out everywhere. I have a plastic bag just off to the side for the trash. Oh, that's a fine crystal. I'm going to go ahead and open up the tetrazzini and the potato pouches. Before, Minotaur didn't used to put an oxygen absorber in there. Now they put this, which feels more like a moisture absorber. So there is what the dry goulash looks like. I can smell that garlic. And it smells good to me. This calls for 8 ounces of water, but sometimes you may have to add more when you're doing the instant potatoes. There is James in the house. Thanks for dropping in. And off to the side I have this. I've used this Reflectix bag in the past to put my pouches in after I put the water in. So before I go get that, I'm just going to seal up this bag, and I'll just have it out of the way. So again, for those that are coming in, meal one is this 3-meat goulash with lamb, chicken, and sirloin steak, and garlic mashed potatoes. What I'll do is I will put the potatoes down as a base for the goulash, and I'm going to have some Folgers instant coffee. Then I will do the dessert and the cheese sauce later. I'll do that right before I open up the goulash bag. Or another option is I could just empty the cheese sauce mix into the potatoes. There's Ford Man in the house, and DeCarlos Perry is here. So that's another option. I could just dump this and make cheese potatoes instead of putting the cheese on top of the goulash, or maybe putting the goulash under or on top of the potatoes. I could just have it as a side and put the cheese into the potatoes. So that would be another option if I wanted to do that. But anyway, I'm going to go get my kettle, and I'll be right back. Actually, this pouch might be too big for the Reflectix bag, so it's going to have to sit out. And that's my widest bag, so... Now, this I can put in here. I'm shaking the bag. That can sit in there, and I will give my goulash a shake while I'm at it. Just gonna add a little bit more water to the coffee. So there is the Folgers coffee. I will open up the Arnold Palmer. This does have a gusseted pouch, but because there's so much powder, there's no way you can get 12 ounces of water in here. You might be able to get 6, but that's okay. The drinking jar will do. Plus, there is no Ziploc on here. Oops, sorry about that. I'll give this a mix. So this is what the Arnold Palmer looks like. It looks a little strange, but again, it's half tea and half lemonade. So I'll wait for everything else to rehydrate. I'm going to open up my Indulgent Trail mix. Got my favorite nut in here. I'll get the tray back in shot here. So that is the Indulgent Trail mix. So this is a peanut butter chip. There's a peanut, the white chocolate chip, and a cranberry. There's the chocolate chip. It looks like different colored raisins. So there's a couple of different colored raisins in here. And there's a cashew. And an almond. That looks like just a dark cranberry. So this is the Indulgent Trail mix. So for those that really have a sweet tooth and like that sweet and salty mix, this would be the one to get. I'm going to take a drink of the coffee. Yep. Basic Folgers Instant. I think I have one jar of Folgers Instant in my stash. My emergency coffee supply. I have more Taster's Choice. I got a few jars of that. And I have a lot of these coffee packets. Well, not a huge lot of them, but I do have some Ziploc bags full. This is Arnold Palmer Minotaur style. Yep, it tastes just like lemonade. Although I think it probably could use a tiny bit more of the tea flavor. But it's definitely sweet. I'm going to go ahead and open up this cheesecake mix. Well, this is what this powder looks like. I want to stir it before I actually shake it because I want to make sure that all of the powder has a chance to get mixed in with the water. Sorry, I just had to lick the spork. Put that, let's put that behind the bottle. I'm gonna check on my potatoes. It's still pretty liquidy, so I am going to give it a mix. Now, while I have this open, do you think I should put this jalapeno cheese spread into the potatoes? You think I should go ahead and experiment with that? I think it'd be fun. I still have enough water in my bottle. I can just mix it with the cold water, but if you want me to put the cheese powder in here, because I like cheesy potatoes, there's a lot of cheese powder in here. Get rid of that. Well, that's going to be good. I'm going to go ahead and put this back in this bag. Now I'm going to check on the goulash. I want to give it a mix. It's still a bit soupy, so it's going to need more time to rehydrate. I just want to give it a mix just to make sure that it's getting close to the way I want it. Plus, I'll give it another shake. Just throw a little more trash back into, this is just a random bag I had. giving another cheesecake, giving the cheesecake another shake. So in the meantime, I'm going to have some more of this Indulgent Trail mix. There you go. Just wanted to find another almond. Now this is, that's a little crooked. There we go. That's a little better. Gonna take a look at the chat. Oh, plain old Chuck is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Ooh, that should be good. Now you pickle that up and let that sit for a while, and that should really get some flavor. Gonna have another drink of my coffee. Oh, there is a foreign Marie, Art, and or Nina in the house. Thanks for dropping in, dropping that super chat. That's much appreciated. And saying hello to everybody. So I got the 3 MREs from foreign MREs. So once I'm done with this Titan, I will pick one of those. To review, and I'm looking forward. One of those I've already had, so I'm actually have a little fun with that one. Meanwhile, I'm going to have some more of this. This is pretty darn good. So you go to foreignmre.com, you can get this awesome titanium spork, and you can get this awesome mug. They have some Norwegian Arctic field rations. They have some Spanish. I think all of those are breakfast ones. They might have some Russian ones left. I don't know. I haven't checked the site in a while. You can get USMREs from brown bag to current. First strike rations, meal cold weather, or MCW. I don't know if they have any more DAF rations from Chile, but those are really good. I would get those again. Especially the salmon paella, although it's not quite up to a real authentic Spanish paella, it is still very, very good. This is a Arnold Palmer, one of the new drinks from Minotaur. I think it could use just a tiny bit more of the tea flavor. Then I think would be perfect. But I will enjoy finishing that one off for sure. I have not tried growing any kind of peppers. I have pepper seeds. I have bell pepper seeds. I have no idea what kind they are. I just get the bell peppers and I collect the seeds out of them when I cut them, and then I dry the seeds. And I've done that with the different chiles, so I don't know what all chiles I have. They're just all mixed together. They all look the same to me, so I don't know what they all are because I'm not good at identifying the different chiles. Oh, that's a bummer. I grew up with and went to school with a friend who was allergic to tomatoes, but she ate tomatoes anyway because she just loved them. She just had to deal with the rash. You know, she would eat ketchup just like the rest of us would, and we were in the lunchroom getting that stuff that they passed off as food. But she just dealt with the rash. Oh, that's good. I'm gonna clip off more leaves from my arugula, my kale, my Swiss chard, and my spinach. So I clipped off the bigger leaves a few weeks ago, and let the rest of them grow some more. And I'm going to clip off probably sometime this week. It's warm. It's going to be 90 tomorrow. So far it's gotten up to 87 here today. So then by the end of the week it's supposed to cool back down into the 70s for daytime highs. And 50s for a low. We had good staff at my school, but the food that we got, let's put it this way. It was probably equivalent to jail food. I'm taking the instant potatoes out of so this is what the potatoes look like. So it's still a bit soupy, so but that's okay. So this is what the goulash is looking like. As far as the cheesecake, I'm going to go get a bowl to put this in. And I'll be right back. This obviously sat longer than the 3 minutes, but that's okay. Of course, it's going to be more like it looks more like pudding. See, this looks more like a pudding. And it's a little thin, but that's okay. I'll put that to my right just to get it out of the way. Oh, this, it's supposed to be the, so I'll get that, it's the salted caramel cheesecake. Oh, Prep for It is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So what I did is I put the jalapeno cheese sauce mix in with the instant potatoes. So it's garlic, mashed potatoes, but with the cheese powder added. And see right there, you can see one of the jalapenos. Oh wow, that's good. So if you like a cheesy potatoes, and that's the way to do it, put the cheese powder in with the instant potatoes. Now I'm going to go ahead and pour out the goulash. So it's a bit soupy, but that's okay. Now you can see why I use my Tupperware tray for this. So this is the goulash by itself. That has a bit of a kick to it. See, there is a piece of the chicken. It's all ground meat, so it doesn't really take a lot to reconstitute it. See, that red is a chile, red chile. The beans are nice. The rice fully rehydrated. This is, I believe, the beef. And this, I believe, would be the lamb. Oh, the meat's fully rehydrated. And having it all together, oh, CR is in the house. Thanks for dropping in all the way from Canada. So again, what I have here is the 3-meat goulash with chicken, lamb, and ground sirloin. Then the garlic instant potatoes, I added the jalapeno cheese sauce mix to them. So that's why they're this color. And this is a salted caramel cheesecake, but I call it a pudding. Don't have any graham cracker crumbs to put underneath it, or graham crackers that I could bust up. But this is really, really good. And so again, Yossi gets a long distance commuter award because he is all the way in Israel. So it is early morning there. So he was pulling an all-nighter basically. The kick from the jalapeno and the spiciness that's already in this goulash. That definitely is a winner. You know, when you're used to having a goulash that has pasta in it instead of rice, this is a decent spin on it. Then this drink is the Minotaur Arnold Palmer, which is half lemonade and half tea. Although I think this particular one might have just a touch more lemonade than tea. I would have liked the tea flavor to come out just a hair. But I will still enjoy drinking this. And then this particular Titan Menu 6, the coffee is Folgers Instant. It's not bad for an instant coffee. I mean, I drink Folgers regular grind anyway. But it's a nice change in these Minotaur rations to put some different coffees in. And this is what they call the Indulgent Trail mix. So there's a cranberry, peanut butter chip, white chocolate chip, regular chocolate chip. There's a peanut, a yellow raisin, and there's supposed to be cashews, but I think I might have eaten the 2 cashews that were in here, but there was cashews and almond. And I think the rest is peanuts as far as the nuts go. But it's still a good mix. And they need to put more cashews in this mix the next time they do it. Because I'm basically down to just peanuts. There's only a couple of almonds in here, and I've already eaten those. But still, the idea of this kind of a trail mix is really good. What I might do to kind of jazz up this, I could throw a couple of the bits of peanut, a couple of the white chocolate chips, and maybe a couple of the peanut chips. And a couple of the dark chocolate chips in there. Gives it a little crunch, a little texture. Oh, speaking of coffee as a snack, Minotaur has the chocolate-covered espresso beans. You can buy that as a single item. I'm hoping they still have some in stock so you can do that. MinotaurTradingCompany.com. The bag says MinotaurMRE.com. Both URLs will get you there. But you can buy a lot of these entrees as a single item, as well as in the rations. So this is the Titan Menu 6. And if Dub C were here, he would probably call this a megabyte. The only thing I'm missing is really the crackers, but I'm saving those for other meals. But this gravy that I ended up with is a good fit for the potatoes too. The 3 meats, the lamb, the chicken, and the sirloin. Plus these beans, you're getting some good protein. Of course, there's protein in the cheese. And there's protein in the nuts and the peanut butter chips. Rice has a little bit of protein, but you combine it with the beans, that nearly completes the protein. There is JW Speaker in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So what you're looking at is a 3-meat goulash combined with the instant garlic potatoes, which I added the jalapeno cheese spread powder to. And mixing these together is really good. And the Indulgent Trail mix has cranberries, peanut butter, white chocolate, and regular chocolate chips, peanuts, golden raisins or yellow raisins. It did have cashews, but they're like 2 cashews and 2 almonds. So I'm not finding any more of those. And this is the salted caramel cheesecake, but it's more like a pudding. And I threw some of these in here. The peanuts, the chips. I put some of those in here just for the heck of it. And this is the Arnold Palmer tea mix. Half lemonade, half tea. You go to a store, you can see his face on the Arizona tea cans. Yeah, Arnold Palmer, the golfer, came up with that mix. And everybody's been going crazy for it ever since. Well, obviously, Rachel, I'm not watching because I'm streaming and chowing down on my dinner. Well, that's okay. More for the rest of us. Sometimes I will mix it up here at home. My younger nephew is a big Chicago Bears fan, so no doubt he was probably watching that game. Should call his house a Bears Den since he probably has so much Bears stuff in there. Well, Mike, you can always listen to something as you're doing that. I probably would be. I have a second cheese with jalapeno mix in the bag, so I will use that another time, and I'll probably mix that one up separate, not combine it with anything like I did tonight. So the Folgers got 1 creamer and 1 sugar. In the 4 MRE mug. So next Sunday and the Sunday after, I will get into more of this. Robert is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So this is the new Titan from Minotaur Trading Company. So the 3-meat goulash, which I paired with the instant potatoes and the cheese. Then the other 2 mains are the Western Omelet Scramble and the Turkey Tetrazzini. There's also a bag of plain instant rice in there. I'm not sure what I will do with that. So I could either use it and add it to the turkey tetrazzini. I could put the cheese sauce in that rice just like I did the potatoes. Oh, goat meat for some may be an acquired taste. But the key is you cook it low and slow. And for the best flavor when you're cooking it, You have the bone in with the meat. You can season it pretty much any way you want. You can season it the way you would do lamb. Yeah, if you use Indian spices, Middle Eastern spices, Mediterranean spices, or even South American, Central American spices with it, you could do goat up pretty good. I love it as a curry or garam masala. Yeah, mutton is basically the older sheep, and you would do the same with that meat like you would goat. You cook it low and slow. I like doing goat in my crock pot with same veggies that you would use for like a beef roast. You know, like potatoes, carrots and celery, and I've even put broccoli in it. But I add the broccoli later, or I just put it on top. And I leave the bone in. And you let that go for several hours, and the meat literally just falls off the bone. And when we start doing dinners at my mosque again, people will be busting out their goat recipes or lamb recipes. And there are quite a few ways that they do the chicken. Some will marinate that in coconut milk, or add coconut milk to the marinade. And it's cooked part way on the stove, and then it's put into the oven to finish. And that turns out really good. Oh, yeah, deer steaks. Oh, that is so good. The last deer steaks I had was actually, I've also had just the cubed deer meat. That came from a deer that Tack from AOK Foraging and Adventures took in one of her previous hunts. There is a Chicago in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Saying hola. hello in Spanish for those that don't know. But I am finishing up. My potatoes are nearly gone. So garlic instant mashed potatoes with the jalapeno cheese powder mixed in. And this 3-meat goulash, which has rice in it instead of pasta. It has lamb, chicken, and ground sirloin. Plus there's beans and some chiles. I'm combining that with the cheese potatoes. Really, really good. And I won't mind this little bit of gravy that's left over because I will finish that off. And then this here, Indulgent Trail mix, but there are only 2 cashews and 2 almonds, but it's peanuts, peanut butter chips, that's what that is, the golden or yellow raisins, and this is dried cranberries, the chocolate chips, and there are only 2 cashews and 2 almonds. I guess the price of those nuts must be so high that they only put 2 in each bag, but it's still a good mix. And this is supposed to be the salted caramel cheesecake. It's more like a pudding. Earlier I threw in a few bits of that trail mix. I do taste the caramel and I do taste the salt. But I would call this more of a pudding than a cheesecake. But it's still good. And Arnold Palmer Tea. This is a new drink from Minotaur. Oh, that sounded like a crash, like some vehicle smashed into something. My slider's closed and my air conditioner is running, but I still heard that. But it might be a block away. It sounded like it was something big. And it's dark outside, so I would not be able to see what's going on if I look out my window. The coffee that they put in this ration is Folgers Instant. Oh, Robert, I bet that was good. And if you went to a place where they were serving lots of people, then having a local chef, you probably had a pretty darn good chef making that food. Oh, wow. Now that would be good. And it was probably slow roasted too when it was on the spit. Did you get the gyros with the really thin slices that look like they would be maybe as thick as a piece of thick cut bacon, but maybe about that wide. Those street vendors probably, they probably have been cooking all their lives, so they probably use recipes that have been handed down for generations. So if he was hanging out near that base all the time, he was probably getting the business like crazy. Because once people found out about him and told everybody else, forget base food. Just go see that guy out front. I have not had homemade tamales since I was in Mexico back in '86. The couple that I stayed with rented out their extra bedrooms that their kids left when they moved out to start their careers after college. So for extra income, they would rent out their rooms to international students. So I got to meet people from other parts of the U.S. and other countries. There was a guy from El Salvador who was there for a little while. There was a woman from Texas, from a couple other states in the U.S., and there was a woman from Mexico City who was there for a while. So the wife was a retired diplomat. I don't know what country she might have served in, what embassy or consulate. And then the husband was still a practicing doctor at the time. I think he worked at one of the hospitals in Guadalajara, which is the city that I was in for a month. And they had this crazy fox terrier named Yaki. Yaki is the name of an indigenous tribe from Mexico. Not as well known as Aztecs or the Olmecs. But that dog was a goof and a half. And that house is pretty convenient for me because I just had to walk to the end of the block to go hop a bus, or a couple of blocks to catch a trolley. I'm going to throw some more of these in here. Just for the heck of it. Just because I can. It gives this stuff a little more texture to it. I need some more of the peanuts. I'm throwing in more of the peanut chips too while I'm at it. I'm throwing in more of the chocolate chips just because I can. Now, when I was in Guadalajara, I was also not too far from a little bodega. So sometimes after getting back to the house from the school that I was taking classes at, I would stop there and get a snack. You know, some ketchup and lemon flavored corn chips. Which I really enjoyed. I got those a lot. I've yet to see those here. Yeah, I'm throwing more of this in, just for the heck of it. Now, we would not, you know, our classes were till like 12:30. Yeah, I took classes while I was down there. Then I would go back to our respective houses that we were staying in, and we had a little downtime. So I would do my homework at that time because we ate lunch at home around 2 to 2:30. Now, thanks for dropping in. So Burger Butt and Burger Butt, go check out the channel, Dave and LJ. They do unboxings of what they get, in plus the reviews. And you get to get a kid's perspective on the flavors of the food. Now, he really enjoys the rations that he shares with his dad. Traditionally in Mexico, lunch is the biggest meal of the day, and then a lot of people would take their siesta or afternoon nap before going back to their jobs, or maybe back to school if they didn't have a class right after taking their lunch break. And thanks for dropping in, Carla. And then the supper would not be eaten till between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, and sometimes as late as 9:30. Most days, or at least a couple of days of the week, we would have afternoon group activities. So then we would all meet up back at the school. Our Shadow Scout Sweet is in the house. And he says good morning because he is in Sweden. Not as far away as Yossi, but it's still morning for him. So we would have group activities. Sometimes we would start the group activity right after the class, and we would eat lunch on the road, so to speak. We would stop at a restaurant and get lunch before doing the group activity. And on those days we didn't have those group activities, then I just pretty much hung out in my room. There was a little black and white TV in the room, so I would watch that, finish my homework. And we had a maid down there that would do the laundry, or we had a laundry person come twice a week to do laundry. So in the morning before we head out, we would bring our laundry bags down with say maybe about 500 pesos or something like that. I don't remember, but the peso was so devalued at that time. It was like between 6.75 and 7.15 pesos to $1. Now it's nowhere near that bad, but so we would have coins for as much as 200 pesos. So I would drop maybe a 500 peso note, or maybe a couple of those, down with my laundry bag, and I had my certain spot that I would leave mine. And then when we got after lunch, then the laundress would put our folder clothes back in our laundry bags and bring it back into the house, and then, or they'll get brought up to our rooms. So that's how I had my laundry done when I was down there. And of course, when we were at the table for our meals, we had to talk Spanish all the time. And if the maid or one of the hosts heard English, that would remind you to talk Spanish. Yep, it is. Yep, Yossi pulled an all-nighter because he was in the Ration Museum stream earlier. So he hangs out online all night and sleeps all day. Well, that'll take care of that. Yeah, I'm messing with you, Yossi. I don't know if that's really what you do, but since you're still up. Oh, yep. Well, some people have night jobs and they have to sleep during the day. I would have an issue with that. My room would have to be super dark. Oops, sorry about that. I briefly got disconnected. It was really good. You'll have to catch it. What he was doing is cataloging all of the civil defense related books and pamphlets, manuals, things like that. Out of the 100 pieces that were in that box, there are probably only about maybe 6 or 7 that he put off in other areas because they were not tied directly to civil defense. So that's what he did. He was going to open a Kazakh ration, but there was something about it that kind of bothered him about its condition. And plus, the main entree is in a big can. Probably bigger than the contents of my drinking jar. And he didn't want to try using a flameless ration heater to heat it. So he's going to probably clean that up, see what broke. There is JIT preparedness info catching at the end. So nearly everything is gone. I just have some of my trail mix left and my Arnold Palmer drink mix, which is half iced tea, half lemonade. Yeah, that's what I was saying. There was something about that Kazakh ration that he was suspicious about. So he will have to go through that bit by bit to see what broke and what can still be salvaged. But maybe next week he will have something that will be in a lot better shape that he shouldn't have to be concerned about. Oh, sorry. I got the notification way too late. I hope to catch your next live. If you're going live tomorrow, I'm not going anywhere because I have to wait on FedEx. Folgers Instant. I'm supposed to get a package from them tomorrow. They're notorious for not wanting to follow instructions. And I was even told when I was talking to a FedEx rep on the phone that even if the code boxes worked, the FedEx employees, the drivers, don't like using them because they think that they're not supposed to know the codes or have access. Oh, congrats on the new digs. Hopefully that should work out for you, and you can have a nice garden area, maybe a place for some animals. There have been a few other channels that I watch, people are planning to move or just have moved. Now, the closing part will be the easy part. You've done the hard work of finding the place, getting your mortgage stuff, if you're going that route, getting all that arranged. The closing is just the final step in the process, and you get the keys. So I bet there will be some videos of that. You checking out the new place? Yeah, it is. Even here in Des Moines, it's just bonkers. And the reno work that's been going on in my building is nearly done. Every unit on my floor is filled. I think they're still working on a couple of the first floors. And I think one or two on the third floor, and those will be done soon. The management company wants this building filled before Christmas, so I think that will happen well before then. And then they can focus on the other building, which got vandalized big time. FedEx one time, they or let into my building, they dropped off 2 packages that were supposed to go to the other building. So apparently that driver doesn't know how to read. And there was a wrong time for me to get a package from them. So I just ran those over to the other building. I have access. I can get into that building because I have a key that works both buildings. So I went in there, put it down, knocked on the door, waited for a few minutes, and then left. Well, that's all my food gone. When you live in an apartment, that's a secured building, and the only way to get in is to have a key or have someone let you in. Because in what they are notorious for doing is, because they see no one at the doors, they think no one is home. And they don't follow the instructions to call the intended recipient. Because, we got 4 doors on this building. Are we supposed to sit at all 4 doors at the same time to wait for a delivery? Yeah, that's impossible. But they expect it. When I was told that drivers are not supposed to know access codes for buildings that do have them, even though it says right on the delivery management area of the FedEx site, you can specify a driver instruction. But yet, corporate doesn't want drivers to follow the instructions. I had a package get put into a vacant apartment that was being worked on. And had it not been for a maintenance guy, it could have been tossed in the trash and I never would have known what it was. In fact, that was my birthday cake that I bought for myself from Maryland Skulls Company. I bought myself one of those gooey butter cakes. Yeah, before we got the locks on our doors, we had a big issue with package theft. And even for a time after we got the locks on our doors, there are people who would mess up the locks. But when the new management took over, a lot of people got booted out. And it wasn't just for not paying their rent on time, because they're causing problems. They even booted out a guy who was parking his motorcycle on a patio slab instead of in the parking lot. If he was that afraid of his motorcycle getting stolen, he shouldn't have parked it right where it would be visible from the street. Because someone could have walked up the hill, hot-wired his motorcycle, and took off. There is a motorcycle owner who now lives here, and that person parks in the parking lot, so it's not visible from the street. Because the majority of the parking spaces are not visible from the street. You have to drive into the lot to see them. And You know, these idiots that used to be let in here, that was how I lost my last trike, because I had it secured in a stairwell with about 5 or 6 bike locks, and it still got stripped, and then the frame itself was stolen. And that was a trike I had a fundraiser for after my third trike was stolen. I had it parked outside and I had a motorcycle cover over it. I had 3 locks on it. But trikes are a very hot item around here. And of course the police don't do squat when it comes to bike theft. So now, I would love to live in the woods, but because I don't drive, I would have to have a driver take me everywhere I needed to go. And so I would be eating a good chunk of my income to pay that driver. So it's just better for me that I stay in the city, because I can take a bus. Occasionally I'll get rides. Say I'm doing something with with my sisters, you know, family thing, or one of my sisters picks me up and we go do stuff at my mom's apartment to help her out. So I get rides from them, and occasionally when I do get to go out to play in the woods, someone else who is going will pick me up and take me there. So I get arrangements made for that. Like in June when I camped with TAC from AOK Foraging Adventures and Redbird 491. Robin of Redbird 491 is her channel name. So they have picked me up to take me before. So in November, one of them will take me to the place where we'll camp for when TAC has done these Veterans Day camps for several years. So she invites people who has served in the military. So we know 2 people who live here in town who have both served. And so I got invited to go, even though I've obviously never served, but I have relatives who did. So because she couldn't serve because she's not tall enough, she has that much respect for the military that she wanted to do something to give some local military vets a chance to just hang out in the woods for a weekend. You know, share food and fire and so TAC puts up videos of these camps, and I think Robin will probably, if she can go, I think she's planning on it. She might put some up on her channel, and any of the others who are YouTubers might put some up. And of course, the place where we're going, you know, the family that owns the land, one of them does YouTube videos, so he will put something up on his channel in addition to his farm stuff. the vegetables and fruits that his family has, his orchards with his apple and other fruit trees. They do corn maze, they do pumpkin patch, and they have chickens and turkeys. So I have had eggs no more than 12 hours out of the chicken. And when you get eggs that fresh, that's the best. So that's where the Memorial Day camp, or Veterans Day camp will be, is out on their land. So I will be shooting video from there. So this will be my first time attending one of those. So I'm looking forward to it. Yep. You get your chickens now, the young ones. They'll probably start laying in the spring, if you got the coop ready. Or you get older chickens that are already laying. Oh, I'm out of coffee. Ooh, nice. So they will be laying pretty soon. Well, I'll go back to drinking my my cold tea after this. I'll finish this, and I'll go back to the other cold tea that I got in the fridge. Yeah, so I'm done with my dinner. I have nothing left. So next Sunday, I will get more out of this. So again, tonight was the 3-meat goulash. So I will either do the Western Omelet Scramble or the Turkey Tetrazzini. And I may pair this with the rice. So that might be good together. So there's plenty of goodies left in this bag. And of course, when I'm done with this, these are awesome thick bags. These are not your typical commercial Ziplocs. So I save those bags and reuse them. Now that's okay. I'm probably gonna hang it up too, since I'm done with my food. I've been on over 2 hours anyway. Oh, yep, I'm going to call this one done. I do want to thank you all for hanging out, for some chat and chow. And again, thanks to Foreign MRE for dropping that $10 super chat earlier. That's much appreciated. That goes right back into the channel with either rations or I get chest. So if FedEx doesn't screw up tomorrow, I should have a couple of items that I will be checking out, and hope to use one on an upcoming trip. So I will be hanging out at home waiting for that, and if Will goes live tomorrow, I will definitely catch that. So again, thanks all for watching, and catch you on the flip side.